Good afternoon and welcome to Alongside Lauren. I'm Lauren and I am so glad that we get to hang out this Sunday afternoon while we get a few bits and pieces prepared for our week. So here on Alongside Lauren, this is not any kind of cooking show because if I'm the person that you're following to get all of your cooking tips, may not necessarily be the best person, but what we are all about is taking a few moments on a Sunday afternoon to make your life easier for the week ahead and having quite a bit of fun while we do it as well. So this week we've got a few delicious things prepared because it's slightly rainy and a little bit drizzly where we are, so it is all about comfort. We are going to prepare a Mediterranean roast vegetable ricotta pie, which we are going to be dining on for our dinners this week. And I was able to get my hands on a bit of a sort of Vienna cob. I'm not quite sure if it's cob or if it's Vienna. It looks like a slightly squashed cob loaf, so we'll go with Vienna cob, that I am going to create a cheesy garlic pull-apart out of, hopefully. If not, it's just going to be a bit of a fail of garlic bread, but it's still going to be delicious anyway, as far as I'm concerned, because butter makes everything better. So we will get crack-a-lacking on getting everything sorted with the butter side of things with this here. I'm going to stop manhandling the loaf because people are going to have to eat this. And even though it is a pull-apart, we need to have other hands on it that are not just mine. I'll stop talking about that. And assisting me in a little bit will also be my sous chef / husband, Heath, who is the best thing since sliced Vienna cob loaf. So for this garlicky, cheesy, buttery thing that is going to go onto the cob that I'm going to get cracking with before we get onto the tart. Hello, sous chef Heath.
Hello.
We will make like a flavoured butter that's going to go with it. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, because it's going to look cool, is we're going to kind of, rather than slicing it this way, but
I understand. I'm just tilting it this way so that you can actually show people what you mean. So instead of slicing this way,
we're going to kind of slice on a diagonal.
Diagonal to these lines.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And a little bit like when you buy the garlic bread from the supermarket, we don't want to cut all the way down to the bottom.
All right, that's nerve-wracking, but yes, got it.
And so I just want you to slice it sort of this way and probably like 1 inch or a bit more sort of thick. We want to go with thicker rather than thinner.
All right, great.
So I keep saying garlic, but what I mean to say is onion.
Right.
So we have got a proliferation in our last couple of veggie boxes of really small onions. Really small, really hard to peel onions. So what I am going to do is add 1 onion in rather than adding some garlic cloves. And because we don't actually need the garlic as such, it's just a bit of flavour, I reckon we're going to get away with it. Peeling.
Slicing. So, look, we don't have any photos of this, but last weekend we spent our time hiking.
We did.
So we ended up packing all of our food, all of our clothes, all of our bedding, our tent, everything into backpacks and headed off for 4 wonderful days just away.
Oh, just amazing.
Just the 2 of us.
And it was
In fact, it
gorgeous,
was completely,
gorgeous.
We were completely isolated the whole time, right up until the very last couple of
3
hours.
Ks, yeah.
We didn't meet another person.
Which is kind of cool.
Each of our campsites was completely just the 2 of us, which was great. It was very cold.
It was very, very cold. Fortunately, we enjoy each other's company, so that worked out well.
But we did something kind of fun. We dehydrated all of our food.
We did. So you can go, some may say, the easy route of just pre-buying sort of your packaged hiking meals, but we
decided to go from scratch.
We did, which is great.
Build them up from scratch, which is delicious. Everything that we had was really, really tasty. I mean, we had a
few opportunities for learning, some may say.
Had a couple of instances where things could have gone a bit better. The first night, one of the meals tipped over, so we split
The
the
meal
other
did
meal.
not. The meal did not tip over by itself. It started boiling. I got a fright and I kicked it over. But you were very gallant to
Not only did you kick it over, but then the little metho spirit burner tipped over.
And I melted it
All
a
the
bit.
metho went over
yeah.
the ground, and we set a little tiny fire on the dirt. On the dirt, completely isolated from any risk zones where you might
Yeah.
have some issues there.
Yeah.
So yes, it was pretty wild, but it was pretty cool.
It was.
The whole trip was
amazing.
really, really cool.
So I'm just adding some herbs into the butter that we're going to put into the cheesy pull apart. So I've got some chives that I picked from the garden. I've got a couple of sprigs of oregano that I picked from the garden as well, that we're just going to pop in here. And at what point do I confess that I've never made this before and I'm just
You just
having
totally
a crack?
winging it. Totally winging it. I love it.
And adding in some basil also from the garden.
Yep.
Wee bit of parsley.
Beautiful.
And I guess this is the thing. It's something that Heath and I will sort of talk about, is that we try within our household to get fresh ingredients but also to sort of focus on stuff which is which fits within our budget but tastes delicious. So this is an example of one of those sorts of things which, with just a little bit of work to sort of add in those additional flavourings, you can take something which is, a slightly stale Vienna/cob loaf and make it something which is going to be really delicious, which we're going to be able to serve to our guests tonight. So I've got the onion, the herbs, the butter in there, and now I have also got some leftover bits and pieces from cheese board cheese.
Some old cheese.
That's one way to put it.
No, it's good cheese.
It is good cheese.
It's just
old cheese.
it's no longer very presentable.
No,
'cause
it's
it's
not.
little tiny pieces.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff like
perfect.
that.
It's
So-
perfectly edible,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it just
but you're not going to put it out on a
No.
platter anymore because
No,
it
'cause it
doesn't
just
look
looks a
like
bit
new
scumsy.
cheese.
no. Because as Heath so elegantly put it, it is the old cheese.
Old cheese. Yes.
And now
Okay.
I am
What's
going
happening next?
to blitz it
Blitz
in
that. Okay,
the
so it's going to be a little
Thermomix.
bit loud.
It will be a little bit loud.
But you're going to blitz that up. Great. And while you're doing that, what can I be doing? Anything at all?
What do
Happy
you want to
just
drink?
Get us a drink. Yeah. I'm happy to see if I can find some things that we can have to drink.
All right, I'm going to see how well that's all combined, because it might need a bit longer.
I think a red wine might be the go. Are you okay
A
with?
bit longer. Yeah, that's fine.
We have a little bit of this Merlot left, so thoughts?
Yeah, we'll do that. It's nice
I'm
and
thinking
easy.
just a little bit each.
There we go. That's sounding better.
That does sound a
Because
bit
it was
better.
still...
Sounded a bit chunky still.
Yeah.
There's probably not quite as much wine in the bottle as I was hoping for, so I might end up with a bit of a small one, and you've certainly got a small one too.
That's okay. I'm going to go once more, just for the heck of it.
Before you grab that, grab this.
Cheers, my love.
Cheers.
So, in a nice contrast with our camping adventure, Heath and I had a bit of a fancy day yesterday.
Yes.
Which was
yes, we did.
lovely.
Yeah.
So we
Indeed.
went to see Moulin Rouge, the musical, which was really fun.
It was.
A really just eye-wateringly spectacular
It was a
production.
very impressive
Very
production.
lavish.
Yeah, they did a very, very good job, I will say.
Yes.
Yep. I wasn't sure what to expect. I liked the movie.
Yes.
But I wasn't sure what to expect, and it didn't disappoint.
No, it did not.
Disappoint. Okay.
All right.
So what have we
we've
coming
got
out here?
our sort of oniony, cheesy, buttery goodness.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit green. Don't be alarmed. That was not the cheese.
Sure.
It was just, it's a little bit green because of the herbs that have gone in there. So I'm just going to pop it into a bowl.
Well,
which
I mean,
is gonna
I'm just thinking of garlic bread, and you have that sort of colouring in garlic bread, right?
Oh
So
yeah, that's fine.
this is pretty typical. What's your plan there?
Cool. So I've got a little bit which is left in the bottom of the...
Oh, you want to save some in there for a bit of flavour for the next thing?
So what I'm going to do is... You know me so well.
Well, this is kind of your trick.
So what I'm going to do is actually warm this butter mix through a little bit, which is left in the bottom of the Thermomix.
Oh, yep.
Because we're making a pie with phyllo pastry, and so normally with phyllo pastry you'd brush it with like a bit of olive oil or something like that at the end just to help the top crisp up, because I mean part of the benefit of using phyllo pastry is that it doesn't have quite as much in the way of empty calories as puff pastry, which is delicious, does have, but you still want to have a little bit of flavour, otherwise it would be like eating a pie made out of tissue paper, which like is fine, but it's not delicious.
No.
So I figured I'd melt this and then we'll just brush it over the top of the phyllo pastry with our pie. So
Okay.
there's just a wee bit of leftover.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
So I will get that sort of warming through, and I think I'm going to pop you on chief spreading duty.
Cheese spreading duty. Yes, so I've got my piece of bread here and I've sliced it up diagonally, just like we were talking about.
Yeah. So what we're going to do.
So I got to try and get it in these gaps.
So this is my theory.
Yep.
It could
Talk me through
potentially
it.
be a bit messy.
Uh-huh.
So it's just sort of
Grab some cheese.
grab some of the
Get a
and then
gap.
just, like, not be too
Mush it in.
mush it in, but only like
Right.
mush it in on one side. So
Show
you're
us-
not trying to like do both.
See if you can bring it over a little bit and see if you can show me what you're doing, and then I'll get started on it.
So you've got, I'm just gonna get some of the cheesy buttery mix on your knife, and then just sort of
There we are. Okay, just sort of
spread it
get it in there on one side by the looks.
on one side.
Yep.
I
One side
just,
is enough.
I don't think there's any value in
All right.
doing the two.
Okay, I can do
And
that.
if you just go through and do that,
Yep.
and
Leave
then
it
I'll
with me.
tell you about the next step
Mm.
after that.
Mm.
And while you
Cool.
do that, I will get the mix together for our Mediterranean tart.
Sounds fancy.
Well, in some respects it is, but when I break it down and I tell you exactly what I've put in there, which is kind of just like a motley collection of bits and pieces that I bought reduced at the supermarket.
Oh, that you posted about recently.
Yeah, I
yes.
did. But I also, because we'd been away and we'd bought like a 3-litre bottle of milk, so the milk was getting really close to its use by date.
Yes.
So rather than letting it just sort of go to waste or us having a whole bunch of milkshakes, which I know you wouldn't have been mad about, but
No, would not have.
I needed
No.
my pants to fit.
You converted it into cheese.
I did. I made ricotta cheese.
We've got some footage about that we'll show a little bit later when we get to a point where maybe things are cooking or, you know. You tell me when you'd like us to cover that off.
So that's starting to melt. I'm going to put in for a little bit longer.
Righto.
It also smells really good.
I must admit, I would have expected this to have a bit more of a smell, but it's pretty mild.
Do you not think it's...
No, I'm not complaining, not at all. I just expected it to be a bit more potent.
Okay.
That's my wine. That's not your wine.
Here we go, we'll do this. If you're working there and I'm working here, let's do that. All right, now, to help cook the bottom and make sure it doesn't get too soggy, I'm just going to pop a baking tray to heat through in the oven. But because it's phyllo, there's less of a risk of having a soggy bottom.
Okay. Because it's not as absorbent?
Well, I mean, like, there's just not a lot going on with phyllo pastry. It's very thin. All right. I have got a pot of chickpeas that were dried that I have cooked. So in general, I find sort of 1 cup or thereabouts of dried chickpeas is pretty close to equating to a tin of chickpeas. And if you have got the storage space and the ability to do so, dried chickpeas and then cooking them yourself is a really economical way of boosting your meals, adding some additional protein in there. But I'm definitely not above using a tin of chickpeas because it's a lot faster. And I reckon maybe put some, if you've got much left
I've got
over,
a little bit left.
just
You want me to
spread
wipe
a little bit
some
on
over
top.
the top?
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of fun.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Now, to make this pull-apartable,
Yes.
which is absolutely a term,
A word. Yep.
what we want to do is now in the opposite...
Oh, okay. I see. That sounds fun.
the opposite diagonal of what we did previously is to...
Yep. So just the same sort of deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to go through
Yeah, I'll go through and do that.
and do that.
I'll keep on cutting.
Excellent.
And
So while Heath regrets the fact that I have given him the really hard jobs.
this is a tricky one. How big a spacing do you want? The same or bigger? Like
I
quite
reckon,
so like double almost.
yeah. Because
Okay.
if it's too small, I think it's just going to end up being really unwieldy.
Yep. You just made me cover it in butter, and now I've got to handle it.
I'm sorry. I should have thought that through.
It's fine.
Okay, so I've got 2 eggs. I've got the ricotta and some of our old favourite veggie stock concentrate. And I reckon some garlic, because why not?
So that's the cool thing about Lauren and her style. She kind of knows what flavors go together. And
Fine.
so, like just adding certain flavors all as you go.
And also I reckon, like, it's just, and then we just wrap the whole thing up in alfoil.
Good. Just get my hands clean.
We don't get too mad at our wife.
All right, foil.
Okay, so we got the 2 eggs. And then when it comes time, we'll just heat it through in the air fryer for like 25 minutes. And it'll get, do you reckon, is there value in, like, should we grate a bit of cheese on top of it before we seal it up?
if you want to grate some
What do
cheese
you
on
think?
top, I think that'd be a cool idea.
Yeah.
I reckon it would add to it
Yeah.
for sure.
Particularly if you're saying it didn't
like
smell quite as much as
like
you thought.
a
Something.
tasty cheddar type.
Yeah, I
Yep.
reckon.
Yep, I like it.
All right, so I'll just give those eggs a bit of a whisk. So the eggs are going to help the ricotta mixture to bind. So this is how much ricotta I made out of 2 litres worth of milk. So
Yeah, so it's not a whole lot,
really
is it?
not a whole
it really,
lot.
Yeah, it does go down pretty fast. I'll see if I can just... There we are. So this is what we got.
Yeah.
Plonk it in.
Whoop.
So yeah, we got a little bit of footage of Lauren preparing the ricotta, and a little bit of footage of her preparing some of the veggies from earlier. So we'll put that on soon.
Oh, cool. The process of making the ricotta, it's not a difficult process. It just takes a little bit of time, and it's just one of those things where you just need to have that mindset to kind of think ahead.
Plan ahead.
A little bit.
That's the key. Plan ahead. So in this case, it was last night.
Guess it was.
Last night, getting the ricotta underway so that it could drain. Yeah. And if you don't understand what that means, it's because as you break the curds and whey apart,
Yeah.
you're really only interested in the curds from the
Yeah.
cheese, which is the solids,
Yes.
and all of the liquids you want to separate off.
Yeah. So we keep all of the whey
I
because
accidentally covered this in alfoil before putting the cheese on, but the good news is I can do something like that and get it all on there. All right, continue with your curds and whey situation.
So we keep our whey, which is the liquid which is left over after we've drained the curds, and I will use that as a substitute for milk in cooking. Not in anything that you actually want like the flavour of milk for, or if you need if you need fat in there. But we've successfully used it to do things like cooking mashed potato. We've used it actually to cook oats.
I was
as
going to
like
say,
porridge.
yeah, our porridge, yeah.
You honestly don't notice a difference. And have also used it as like a substitute for milk in baking and stuff like that.
One thing I will say is it's a little salty.
It is.
And so
Weirdly.
for porridge and things like that, you need to take that into account.
Yeah, so you just don't add extra
You
salt.
might need a bit of, and you might need like a bit of sugar to balance it.
So I'm just adding in 2 teaspoons of garlic because I love garlic. And it will add a nice flavour. And we had, while I was out picking the herbs for our cheesy garlic pull apart, I also just grabbed some herbs that will pop into this as well. So again, with our beautiful basil. If you have got the means and the opportunity to do so, even if you can't do a full-blown veggie patch, it's really worth just getting some of those herbs going because it is such an easy way to lift a dish. That's awesome.
All right, so you've got that on the go. The mixture's looking pretty good in there. Might be able to get in there and have a bit of a squiz. So yeah, it's looking nice and fresh and green.
Yeah,
and
it's
smelling
delicious.
excellent.
Yeah,
That basil always punches
basil
through.
is phenomenal. Would I be able to trouble you to line that glass Pyrex dish
Sure.
with baking paper? I wasn't going to, but I think I will.
But you're not going to chance it?
No.
Fair enough.
The purpose of adding the baking paper is just because it's going to make it easier to slice a pie and lift it out. So So this pie serves, will do 8 servings. So that will be dinners for Heath and I for the week sort of up until Thursday, and then we tend to have a bit of a treat on on Friday nights. We have like the most gangster raging Friday nights.
We do a grocery shop.
Yep.
And then we have pitta pocket, which is kebabs.
Yep.
In our pitta, which are absolutely exceptional.
It's amazing.
It's like a Michelin star kebab.
They make their own pita bread, like right then and there in a nice big pizza oven, and it's just it's amazing.
They are absolutely beautiful. Yep. All right, so while you keep on chopping away at that, have you got a little bit more to do?
There's just a little bit to sort of get the mix happening, but you could.
If you like, we can have a look at the stuff that you've been up to up until this point.
That's a great idea.
Is now a good time?
Yeah, now's the perfect time.
All right, well, let's take a look.
So this is us preparing the ricotta last night. So pouring in the milk, and I had a little bit more than what I needed to for the recipe according to the cookie dough. So I just poured it in. It was like an extra 200 mils. It's fine. So pouring it in, and then we're going to be adding in some salt as well to flavour up the ricotta, which is whey the whey does taste a little bit salty. Black and gold, because I'm classy. Mm-hmm. So it was a teaspoon of salt there.
Is that the only reason it's salty? I thought that there was a bit of salt just naturally that comes out in whey.
Oh, look, there may be, but... And, oh, look, costume change. And so after we'd heated the ricotta with the salt, I'm also adding in lemon juice. So what the lemon juice is that's an acidulant, and that will effectively curdle on purpose the milk, which is what we're wanting to do here.
Causing it to separate.
Adding in that lemon juice there, me just deciding, there's like a little bit, so I might as well use it all up. Heating it again for a little while.
Yeah, nice and hot.
And then once we had let it sort of sit for a little bit, we've got some clean tea towels, which are lining some draining baskets, which are in another bowl, so we can capture the whey. And we pour it all in. You can see it like it.
It's a bit lumpy.
Yep, which normally you'd feel a bit sus about.
So had to do that in a few stages, didn't we?
Yeah.
So you sort of drain out a bit and let a lot of it sit.
Yep. And it just kept going.
Kept on adding it and adding it.
And then eventually just let it sit.
Oh, and we're on to a whole different thing.
Preparing the chickpeas here. So that's my 1 cup of chickpeas going into the water. So I normally have about sort of 2 to 3 inches worth of water above the chickpeas. Me adding in garlic and a bay leaf, popping on the lid and letting it cook away. So it's a really easy process. There's nothing too hard about it. You just need the time. And preparing the roast veg for the tart. So we've got eggplant there and capsicum and zucchini. And I think we've also got some onion, which will be... Oh, capsicum there.
Capsicum, yep. And yes, like you say, I think there's some onion to follow.
Onion making a star appearance. Guest star appearance. Excellent work by Onion.
It's coming. There it is.
There we go. For onion you've all been waiting for.
And fortunately, we didn't show you any of the footage of removing those outer.
It was so intense.
It was hard work. Yeah, didn't want to play the game. And it's just a little bit slippery onion, and it's just Yeah.
So a good glug of olive oil there.
Very nice. Olive oil.
To help with the roasting process.
Followed by a bit of pepper, I believe, or salt first. Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Nice big ad for black and gold there.
Yeah.
Some pepper. And a really good amount of dried oregano as well. I was
going to say, it's kind of your specialty, adding some herbs to roast vegetables.
Yeah.
Always just punches the flavour
and
up
really
a bit.
adds just a great depth of flavour in. So because we're using the fresh herbs in the mix as well, you've kind of got those layers of it.
Mm-hmm. So there's the chickpeas getting a bit of a cook.
Boiling away.
Boiling away. This is just before we started the live stream today. And
The roast veg going in.
oh, yep, a little bit of this before the live stream too. And since then, yeah, it's come out. It's had a bit of a stir.
And then popped back in.
I believe we popped it back in, yep. And now it has come out for good.
Which is perfect.
So, yes. There we go.
So now
That's
I'm
the
just
situation.
mixing up the herbs that I popped in with the ricotta and the veggie stock concentrate.
And I just thought I'd show the vegetables
Oh,
that
yeah,
you
before I
ended
put
up
them in.
making
They look
before you pop them
amazing.
in. So, yeah, they do. They look really nice. The colours are good.
So I'm just going to pop those chickpeas in and fish out the... Oh, actually,
we
I
are.
reckon the garlic can stay.
So there's our
Just squish it
veggies
out.
ready to go into that pie. And, oh, there's your chickpeas that have just gone into the
Yeah.
ricotta mixture. So you're going to give that a bit of a mix up now?
Yeah.
Great. Way to go. Oh, nice. So the ricotta's quite a smooth ricotta this
Yeah,
time around,
it
isn't
is.
it? Mm. Nice.
So the other
Beautiful.
ingredient that I'm going to pop in here is a bag of kale.
Oh,
So this
Yes.
this is my 60-cent kale. 60 cents down from $6, which is amazing. Saved 90%.
yep.
So we found that by accident that our local supermarket on Thursday night seems to do like a really good
A bit of a clear out.
clear out. And so this kale, and look, it's not something we'd normally buy. I certainly wouldn't be spending $6 on it.
No. Isn't it organic kale?
Oh yeah, it's fancy pants, organic, all the things.
Yep.
But I was able to freeze it, so I wouldn't freeze kale if it was going in a salad.
A fresh thing?
Yeah,
No.
but if you're
It's
going
getting
to use
cooked.
it for soup or something like that, it's perfect, and it's a great way to, I guess, sort of capture it before it gets manky.
It does smell a little bit like broccoli.
Yes, yeah,
It must be one of the
yeah. It's
in
part of
that
your brassica
family.
family. So giving that
So-
a really good mix.
Yep. Nice. Oh, that's really, yeah, that's coloured it up a lot,
Yeah.
hasn't it? Beautiful. Love it.
And it's going to cook down and just add flavour. It's not going to be like too intense or caly or offensive. And like, how like fancy pants is it to be able to use organic kale,
Kale.
but
yeah.
knowing
It
that-
sounds pretty fancy pants.
it was cheap.
Yep. So, a very flash dish. Very flash pie.
But just kind of using up odds and
Nice
sods.
work.
And oh, honestly, Lauren,
Looks excellent. Absolutely excellent. All right. Way to go. So there we are.
so we'll give that a good mix.
Good mix. Can I start clearing some
Oh
things?
yeah, that'd be great.
Will you still need something for the filo pastry, or are you going to go straight into the pie dish?
I'll keep a chopping board if that's okay. All right, so that's had a nice sort of mix around there. So phyllo, the secret to phyllo is you want to have it pulled out of the freezer the night before you use it.
The night before.
Yeah, because it needs
Oh.
to be defrosted. So just pull it out and put it in the fridge. And then before you use it, take it out of the fridge a little bit beforehand so it's not super duper cold. If you're not going to use it all at once, keeping it in a damp tea towel while you're working with it. Like if you're doing like triangles or, like those sort of spinach and ricotta triangles or something like that, because this dries out so quickly.
Yep.
And so you do just need to work quite quickly with it.
So one layer down or multiple layers down? What's the plan?
I am going to do sort of multiple-ish layers down.
Okay.
So
and
I've
are
got
these going to be like
5
foldovers
here.
or what's the...
So I've got
one big pie?
Yeah, I'm doing one big pie. Because I
see. Like a half and half sort of situation there.
Yeah, that's my plan. Maybe.
That's a good idea.
There
That
we
makes
go.
sense.
And the good thing about phyllo as well is you can kind of just smush it and it'll be tasty. Like the layers will just be tasty. 1, 2. Ah. Okay. Just sort of forming the other half of the pie. And then pouring the mix in.
Look at that. That looks awesome, hun. That is looking fantastic. All those colours, fresh flavours and stuff.
And just sort of smooth it out.
So one thing that any males that watch this might comment on, such as myself, is that there's not a lot of meat in this dish.
Some may say there is no meat in this dish.
So talk to me about that.
There's no meat in this dish.
So I guess the benefit of things like chickpeas, you're going to get a bit of protein from those.
Like you're going to get a really good amount of protein there. There's also, well, you probably would consider the ricotta to be more of a fat than a protein, but you still got some protein from the ricotta there. And so now we're just going to
sort of stuff that in a bit.
Yeah, but sort of do it in such a way that like you've got edgy bits.
Yeah, great. Love some good edgy bits. Looks beautiful.
And then with these leftover
sheets.
The leftover sheets.
I think I know what you're going to get up to. I think I've seen you do this before.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
See, it's already starting to dry out.
Yeah, it's all sort of failing. But the great thing is,
doesn't matter.
With your idea here, is you're just going to scrunch them up on top so they're nice crispy bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to go. Oh, it's fascinating how short a time span you get with it. Hey?
And that's why, like, because of what we're doing, like, I should have gotten a tea towel.
Oh, yes, and put it over the top.
Yep. But I just decided,
it's all good. Well, considering how we're treating it on top, it's not that critical.
No.
Yeah. It looks kind of funny, but, like, trust me, it ends up turning out really, really cool. I'm sure you could go to like extreme trouble of making like roses and, all sorts of fancy decoraty sort of stuff.
Sure.
But this
I do
here-
not have time for that.
No. It's going to taste exactly the same as a fancy roast version. All right. Way to go. Nice. That is brilliant. Very, very cool.
Now, my concern is that there was... Oh, no, that's still probably
Yeah, it's
not
a little...
too bad.
It's hardened up a little
It
bit,
has
I know.
hardened up a little
yeah.
bit.
Yep. But I think you can make it work. Just sort of dab it on there a bit. Do you want me to grate some cheese on it or something?
Can you grab me the... maybe just the olive oil.
Sure. There we are. Alrighty. Well,
Done that, and then we'll just do a
give it a little drizzle.
little drizzle.
Nice.
A little bit of everything bagel seasoning.
Oh yeah, our fancy catch-all seasoning that just works on everything, in our opinion. Maybe not pancakes.
No,
We had some killer pancakes this
Killer
morning.
pancakes
It's
this
completely
morning.
off topic, but
but they were delicious.
they were delicious. All
And
right.
so now I'm going to sit that on the
Oh,
tray in the oven that
Oh,
I've
okay.
heated up.
yes. Nice. Way to go.
Drop the oven temp down to 200,
Uh-huh.
and then give it sort of 45 minutes to cook, and we are all good to go. And so that is our dinners prepared for the week, which is amazing. And I am so glad that we were able to take that time this afternoon to be able to get those few bits and pieces prepared. I'm feeling very smug about the fact that I was able to use up a few bits and pieces as well that were, starting to look a little bit lackluster, but being able to create something that I reckon looks really fancy and is going to really lift our spirits this week. So I really hope that you also have taken that time this afternoon to get a few bits and pieces prepared to make your life easier. And I can't wait to do it all again next week on Alongside Lauren.